she has a good shot at getting back to us.
Sir? Isabel, this is Captain Cutter.
I know who you are. James Cutter. Captain of the Spirit of Fire. You're supposed to be lost with all hands.
Not so lost, it seems. What happened down there? I need to know what we're up against. Isabel? Isabel, report.
Sir. 5 months ago, the portal from the Ark to Earth shut down without warning. A month later, he arrived.
He?
The Brute. Their leader. His name is Atriox. During the war, the Covenant used his clan as expendable muscle. Told them dying in battle would speed their holy journey. 40 at a time, they carelessly sent them in. 40 to break the front lines. 40 to die for beliefs not their own. None ever returned. Until he did. And so battle by battle, war by war, 39 brothers at a time, Atriox was born. With every victory, his legend and his hatred of the Covenant grew. Eventually, both were impossible to conceal. And they tried to banish him. And everything we know about the Covenant's 1,000-year history. Atriox was the first to defy the Covenant and survive. And his defiance inspired others. Atriox and his Banished raided Covenant resources, cutting a swath across the galaxy, growing in strength with each attack, gathering killers and mercenaries to his side. The Covenant had two targets in those years, humanity and Atriox. They almost got us, but Atriox, they never came close. The whole damn Covenant couldn't contain him at the height of their power. That's what you're up against. And all you've got is one old ship and half a crew to staff her? We need to run as far and as fast as we can.
We are just one ship. And an old one at that. But here we are. 30 years past what anyone could ask of us. Our war is gone. The lives we had are gone. The worlds we knew have moved on. And now, all that we may have left are those standing beside us. And the duty that defines us. Battle after battle, fighting side by side. Together. Where you see half a crew, Isabel, I see family, courage, and 1,000 heroes who swore to fight their way through hell before they'd ever turn their backs and run. And where you see one old ship, I see home. And that is always worth fighting for. If we don't stop Atriox now, we leave the galaxy at the mercy of a monster. So no, Isabel. We won't be running anywhere today.
Sir, yes, sir.
Captain, I appreciate a good rousing speech as much as the next AI, but Atriox has had months to set up his forces on the Ark. Even if we could find him, attacking him head-on would be suicide.
That's why we have to fight smart by hitting Atriox's chain of command first. Isabel, you know the Banished and their operations here. Where do we start?
Decimus. He's one of Atriox's chief lieutenants and the one who led the attack on my outpost. He oversees a Banished salvage operation near the outpost.
We need to hit the Banished with a surprise attack to put them on their back foot. Then move south and establish an HQ. Once we have a base, we can begin our attack on Decimus.
Captain, Isabel said the portal her outpost was using to contact Earth closed without warning. Once we start this fight, we have no way of calling for help if we need it.
That's what you'll be working on, Professor. I need you to find us a way to get word back home. In the meantime, it's up to us to hold the line here. Let's show them what the Spirit of Fire can do. Listen up, team. The Banished are dug in deep and dead set on controlling this installation, and we cannot allow that to happen. Strike one. Your job is to establish a forward base. Expect resistance.
You heard the captain. Strike one.
Welcome back, guys and gals. It's the Tyrant here, and you're watching my Halo Wars 2 Legendary walkthrough. Today we are doing Mission 2 entitled A New Enemy. We are picking up right where we left off. The new AI has just explained who Atriox is, a very menacing brute who is in control of a new Covenant faction that the Covenant used to use as cannon fodder. So this mission starts out pretty basic. It almost starts out like a scouting mission. You'll get lots of support here. Most of these units you cannot control, more specifically the Hornets. They just sort of move in and help you out. You're in control of the ones on the ground. And so you're just trying to take out these Banished structures right here. Nothing too crazy. Now, just a little reminder, if you select RB, just once you select all the units on screen, if you double tap the right bumper, then you will select all units on the map. So it's pretty easy to guide your units from one location to the next. So again, the first part of this mission, you're just basically going through, very similar to the last mission, and you're just kind of going where the place tells you. The waypoints tell you. The difference is you'll actually have enemies you have to fight here. Now, just a little FYI, these garrisons, you don't need to worry too much about them now in terms of taking them over, but they will come in handy much later. So right now we're just going to go ahead and do a slash and burn type deal with all the Covenant in the area.
I'll cut through them in no time. Garrisoning.
We got our Hell Troopers here. I will say the graphics have been greatly improved. I love the fire effects, the laser effects, the machine gun effects. Definitely look better than they did back in 2009.
We might be able to tap into that power.
Got it, Professor.
So as far as that power grid right there is concerned, you'll find those all over the map. Just to sort of give you a recap from the original Halo Wars, you have two resources here. One is supplies, the other is power. Now, in addition to being able to build generators, as well as supply pads to generate those things at your base, you can actually capture additional nodes around the map. As far as I know, there are 4 such nodes on this particular map in terms of power. In terms of supplies, you can find supplies scattered about everywhere. So again, not that big of a deal. Kind of nice just to keep in the back of your head, though. It does give you a nice boost, especially at the beginning when you're just trying to build your base and just trying to get some units out there. So, first things first, we're going to go ahead and activate this bridge right here. It's going to allow us to get across.
Jerome, the captain is deploying heavy forces.
And it's going to allow us to start heading over towards the rest of the map. There are going to be some enemies down here.
Got eyes on hostiles. Over.
So we're going to work on taking these guys out. Just be careful. So just a little reminder here, you have two types of Marines that you can control so far. One is a standard Marine, and the other is the Hell Jumper or the Hell Trooper or whatever they're called, the Flame Guys. Flame Guys are very effective against infantry, whereas the Marine style ones just, they have typical machine guns and everything, but they also have their secondary attack in which they use grenades. In this mission, I'm going to focus mostly on just using Hell Jumpers because there's a lot of infantry in this mission as opposed to vehicles. Best I can tell, we don't encounter any wraiths. I don't think there are any in the mission at all. As you can see, we're getting shelled by our own guys. I don't think it's having any real effect on us. Okay, maybe it is. So again, just because we're mostly going up against infantry units here, I'm more focused and more determined on building up not only Warthogs, well, you can't really build them, but we'll go into that later, but making my Hell Troopers a bit more of a priority than the standard Marines. So again, this is just my legendary walkthrough. This is not a speed run. I'm going to try to get some of the secondary objectives here, but it's not going to be my main mission. My main mission today is to show you how to beat this on Legendary in one go. No saves, no deaths. Just getting through on Legendary. Once you can get through this mission on Legendary, you can always go back and improve your score, go for those secondary objectives, or if you want to go through it for a better time, you certainly can. Again, this is just showing you how to beat this game on Legendary difficulty. So right there, that is our first leader power. It's the, think of it like a bubble shield, not a bubble shield, but a health regen. Maybe it's a bubble shield from Halo Reach, except it doesn't actually shield you from enemies as far as I know. But you can place that on your troops to heal them. Definitely a good idea, especially when you're first just starting out in a mission. In this particular one, they give you 2 Warthogs to start with, but as you will find out later, every time a Warthog gets destroyed, you will get another one dropped off. Don't know if this is going to hold true later on in the game. So basically, at least in this mission, you have an infinite number of Warthogs, just not at one time. All the more reason why I focus on creating Hell Troops as opposed to regular Marines, because I can use the Warthog secondary ability to wreak havoc for a bigger punch, to pack a bigger punch. There we go. So we're just going to move forward now. Basically what we're trying to do is get to a point where we can build our first base. So we're just taking out troops along the way here. We are getting some aid from our mortar counterparts over there. They're shelling the hell out of this bridge. Don't seem to care very much if there are any same side casualties. I guess they took a number for one of my walkthroughs earlier.
Decimus's salvage operation is just up ahead.
So this one's pretty much a freebie for us. There's not going to be a lot of competition trying to take that building. It's a banished base. We're going to get some help from some Hornets. So it's going to be a pretty quick slash and burn type deal. We're just going to go through, we're going to destroy the base, and then we're going to go ahead and start building our own. Now, my recommendation is, of course, when you're first starting out, before you start upgrading your base, I would definitely recommend garrisoning some of your troops in here just to protect the base from any enemy fire. You're going to be encountering quite a few interesting scenarios here, which we'll go through one at a time. The first thing you need to look out for is once you actually can start building your base, which we can get to in a minute, it's going to get attacked right away. Again, we'll get to that in just a second. Right now, your main thing is just to take out any troops in this area. Again, mostly it's going to be infantry. No real heavy vehicles. I think, was it brute choppers? I don't know if it's choppers or not. That you'll see quite a few of in this mission, but they're light vehicle. They're not that powerful. It looks like kind of like the Warthog. They do have a ram capability as a secondary means of attack. So again, right off the bat, you have some supplies all around this area to sort of help you gain more supplies right out of the gate, so you don't have to worry so much when it comes to actually building the initial portions of your base. In terms of building your base, obviously, the order that you want to go through is, of course, at least building one supply pad, two if you can manage the time. But also, as soon as you build at least one supply pad, you want to go ahead and build a generator as well, because it's just as important that you generate power just like you generate supplies. This obviously is how you create troops, build other structures, and get to use those leader powers. So there we go. Our first banished base is destroyed. And of course, this works just like in the original Halo Wars, where essentially what happens, you only get to build in designated areas. So basically wherever a base has been, or where you see a platform like that. So unfortunately you can't just build anywhere like in most RTS games. You can only build in the spots that are designated for you. The bright side to this is it allows you to take over an enemy territory or enemy base or whatever you want to call it. And once you destroy it, you actually have the option of building over top of it to prevent them from building another base in return. And we're actually going to use that strategy in this mission.
Jerome, get that base up and running.
So we're going to go ahead and garrison this area for now. Again, just giving our base a little extra protection. We are going to see periodic attacks from the enemy. There are 2 enemy bases on this map. We're going to focus first on the one to the north. As soon as we start building up our base, that's going to be our top priority. Of course, while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and collect more supplies and see if we can capture some of those power grids, or those towers that produce more power as well. Okay, so we're almost there. All right, construction is complete. Right out the gate, we actually get to build 5 different structures. That's a little unusual. Typically, it's only 3. This is actually a medium base right here. The largest, I believe, you can actually build 8 structures, if I'm not mistaken.
You'll need power as well as supplies to build more specialized units.
So first we're going to go ahead and build that supply pad, then we're going to go ahead and build a generator. In this particular mission, you really don't have much of a choice. You sort of have to go by what it tells you to do. But even so, it is getting you on the right path here. Typically, this is going to be the order of operations for when you actually build a base and have options to build different things. So again, order of operations here, typically a supply pad, generator, and barracks. The center building right there actually can produce Marines, but the barracks actually helps you do advanced units, and I think later on abilities for the Marines. Again, I've only gotten a couple of missions into this game so far, so we're just going to take this by here as we go through it. Generally, in terms of my walkthroughs, what I do is I play through the mission one time just to get a feel for it, and then I come back and do it again and record it with my voice so I can actually show you what I'm doing. So this is the first attack that I was telling you about. There's really not much you can do about it. You just kind of sit here. It's a plasma bombardment. Essentially, they're trying to glass your base. Fortunately, we do have that healing ability. We're going to have to wait a few minutes to use it because we don't have the resources to actually execute it at the moment. So we're going to have to wait just a few minutes. But you really don't have to worry too much. So we've got all of our turrets queued right now. This will help us defend our base as we progress through the mission so that we can focus more on offensive tactics rather than having to constantly protect our base.
Make him pay.
We'll be happy to deliver, Isabel.
I do like how the graphics are heavily improved here. You see the Pelicans actually dropping off troops and building parts, so they're not magically rising out of the ground like they were in the original Halo Wars. So now we're going to go ahead and heal our base here. This is definitely important because if your base gets destroyed, obviously you can't produce more units and you're pretty much SOL at that point. You might as well just throw in the towel. So we have our hero, obviously, as well. So at this point, we're just sort of sitting around trying to make sure we build our base. We're going to go ahead and build some units as soon as we have enough supplies and power. And again, that's going to be your main thing here, is just making sure you have a constant intake of both power and supplies so you can just keep building those troops and keep pressing forward. Always keep an eye on your base. It's very easy to visit your base. Just a simple press of the D-pad and you can actually cycle through your different bases if you have multiple ones.
Turret constructed.
So again, we're just sort of taking it easy here. We're going to start building troops as soon as we can so we can start moving forward. As you can see, that triangle is where we're ultimately going to go. That is some sort of portal that the Banished are utilizing. But before we go there, there was a base just to the north. That's where a lot of our attacks are going to be coming from. So we want to eliminate that base first and take it over so that we have 2 bases and we have more supplies and power coming in. Plus, we can always go through and create troops from both bases. Now, notice in the lower right-hand corner, just like in the original Halo Wars, unfortunately there's a population cap here, and the stronger your units are, the more they will take up in terms of the population cap. So tanks will take up more space than humans, and so on and so forth. Again, in this mission, you don't have to worry about building vehicles every time your Warthogs are destroyed. If they get destroyed, the Pelicans will drop off 2 more at your Alpha base. But it will be up to you to create more troops. So we've got our Warthogs right there. They should have full health at this time. We're going to move forward a little bit. Whoop, we're already getting attacked. Again, so that looks like a brute chopper, or unless I'm completely mistaken and that's a ghost. From here it looks like a chopper, but I could be wrong. So if I am wrong, definitely let me know in the comments below. I definitely don't mind making corrections going down the line. So yeah. So again, we're building up our army here before we proceed forward. We just want to make sure we have a sizable amount of troops so we don't get blindsided too badly. I'm not expecting to win every battle here. Again, we just don't have the firepower for it. We only have mostly infantry and a couple of Warthogs to back us up. So we're going to do whatever we can. Mostly we're going to get attacked in small numbers, but as you get closer to the bases, they will increase in rank and numbers. So again, we're just trying to build up our supplies and our power here. Essentially, you want to get to a point where it's not a problem for you to build troops, that you have a nice surplus of those items, just so that you can build whenever you need to. You don't have to sit around and wait. Unfortunately, when you start a mission, typically that's going to be the case. Now again, you can go around and collect supplies to try to speed up that process, but really what you want is to have multiple supply pads and multiple generators, as well as making sure you're able to up your defenses as well. So as you can see, I've got turrets on all 4 sides of the base right here, so that at least early on in the game, protecting it should not be that big of an issue.
All units.
So now we're going to go ahead and start proceeding forward a little bit, and we're already getting intercepted because we're getting closer to that first base. And they're starting to pull back a little bit. This is a very smart technique that the enemy is using, because they're going to pull back, try to heal their troops, and then send more forward. So they're keeping us going. And here's our first little power grid right here. So again, there are 4 of these on the map. We've already taken 1 over there. There are 2 more at the bottom. We'll worry about those later. Right now, we just want to get that initial increase in power. Again, don't try to follow the troops too much, because you'll get ambushed if you do that. So just try to hang out in just this little area right here. Go ahead and take the power grid as soon as the enemy troops are destroyed. And yeah, that definitely looks like a brute chopper. Okay, so again, if you have the power and the resources, go ahead and keep building troops. You're going to need them. Your troops aren't going to last the entire game if you're able to, or the entire mission anyway. If you're able to make all your troops survive, congratulations, you are better than I am. But again, we're just taking this nice and easy. Our enemy here is being kind of smart, kind of intelligent. They're sort of yo-yoing my position, where they'll go in and attack a little bit, and they'll pull back as soon as they start taking too much heat. And pun was intended there.
All units.
So right now we're going ahead and capturing that. They'll probably take it back later on. Not that big of a deal. As long as we start thinning out their forces, we can easily take it back when we need to. Hopefully they won't take it, but again, you never know. So we have some more supplies up here. We're going to go ahead and capture those. And as you can see, we have an additional objective of capturing those 4 power plants. Okay, so there's actually 5 here. My bad. We're going to see if we can capture all 5 of them. The first one was sort of a gimme. The next 4 are all on enemy territory. So here's that second base up there. We're just going to go ahead and make sure it's uncovered with the fog of war. Don't know if we have the troops right now to actually take it out. We'll do what we can. And wow, that chopper just plowed right through my guys right there. So as you can see, there is a shield right there on the just to the left of where I am. That's going to open up the base, or open up the map to the other side of the base. We'll deal with that in just a second. This is actually going to be kind of a choke point because your vehicles cannot really help you here. So right now I'm just trying to go ahead and get the choppers out of the way if I can so that my vehicles can assist me. We got a little too much enemy fire coming from different directions. I don't think we're going to win this little skirmish, but again, that's okay because we'll have additional warthogs dropped off at the base, and I've got more troops being created as we speak. And at this point, we've been going long enough that both my power and my supply status has gone up quite a bit. So we should be able to get more troops without too much of an issue here. But we're going to go ahead and see if we can get these guys done pretty quickly. The only downside to having hell troopers is they're not that effective against the choppers as opposed to grenade-wielding marines. But again, you have more infantry that you're dealing with here than you do choppers. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get this out of the way. Go ahead and build more troops just to have a nice little backup resource just in case things go bad over here. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get all this taken care of. It's getting kind of difficult to... There we go. I want to make sure my warthogs are healed. We're getting constant attacks from the Covenant here.
All units.
But that chopper's being a pain in the butt. I'm beginning to wonder if I should just send my troops over there anyway. I think the chopper's just going to tear them up, though. That's why I'm trying to go ahead and see if I can destroy the chopper, too. We'll see what we can do here. I'm not sure how strong these generators are compared to the Hell Troopers. More than likely, grenades would work better here. So, note to self for a future run, when you're dealing with structures, grenades are probably a better tactic, but since right now we're already near the pot, well, there we go. All right, so we already got more choppers coming in here. So right now I'm just trying to get my men to see how quickly they can take out this generator so that our warthogs can get involved with the chopper that's on the other side. But that double right bumper right there, that's definitely really useful so that you can continuously build troops back at your base and then send them up here once they've been dropped off by the Pelican.
She's pretty ding, sir.
And that chopper's definitely doing some damage.
Copy that.
So I'm not sure if the shield generator is auto-repairing. It seems to it, because we definitely did some damage to it.
All units.
Wiping out hostiles. Roger.
So we're going to see if we can go ahead and take this guy out. We should be in a position right now to deal with the generator.
Almost down, sir. Enemy building
Okay, that's better. All right. So units did surprisingly survive that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and build more of these guys. Again, you can use the D-pad to quickly move around the field, not just back to your base, but also your troops as well. So we're going to take out the second generator right here. Again, remember, your vehicles are ineffective when trying to attack something from the other side.
I'm there, sir.
And it looks like we're about to get attacked again.
All units.
But we're going to go ahead and grab some supplies first.
Make my way. Warthog under attack.
Okay, and we're already starting. Okay, so this is, at this point, I figure it's probably better just go ahead and attack that other base, simply because they keep sending troops our way.
On the run.
I'm detecting another energy.
We obviously can get a garrison up here. That's not a bad idea either. Now these two... Oh, okay. So this will happen periodically. It's not that big of a deal. It doesn't typically nuke your troops as long as you move them out of the way. This is really going to be important towards the end of the mission because there is a boss fight here. So don't believe I've really seen those too often in a Halo Wars game. In fact, I'm not sure that we did have a boss fight in Halo Wars 1. I could be wrong. I don't know if the Proto Gravemind technically counts as one.
All units.
So we're going to get more troops together, start sending them more towards our area. So at this point, we are almost at max population here.
The enemy is sending vehicles after me.
Still not having trouble with supplies or power at this point.
You got it. Let's show them what this baby can do. My 4x4 is hungry.
But they are... Notice how the enemy is starting to get more aggressive when it comes to my base.
Consider them gone.
Like I said, fortunately, these Hell Troopers are very effective against infantry forces.
On the move. Ground troop receiving fire from ground troops. Moving out.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Man, just clean the blood off. Eat grill, uglies.
I love the little banter that they have. It's, you notice that the sound effects and just what the Marines say in general does make it feel like a regular Halo game. Wow, that did not last very long. All right, get our troops back over here. Let's rescue our leader.
Got my foot on the pedal, sir. Leaving the DZ and returning to base.
So far, so good.
Just show me the hostiles, sir. Get it going.
All right, so we're going to start building up our forces, see if we can actually start attacking that base to the north. Be a little bit more effective in terms of dealing with
All units.
the final base later. The final base also includes hunters, so having more is definitely a good thing here. So we're going to see if we can drive these guys back. We're going to keep just producing these guys while we're attacking the others. You want a constant stream of troops coming your way. That way you don't have to wait to attack again. If you cripple a base but manage to lose most of yours at the same time, then you can easily follow up with another swift attack.
Roger. I'm coming for you.
So we're going to see it's not guarded that big. They're not heavily guarded that bad, so we should be able to take this place out. It's not a huge base, just a centralized structure for the Banished. So we should be able to deal with these guys without too much of an issue.
All units.
Okay, so we seem to be getting a little overwhelmed, so I'm going to take my surviving troops back, bring in some reinforcements. And we're going to try to hit these guys hard before they bring in any reinforcements of their own.
Local units.
And it looks like they're sending most of their base infantry over in my direction, which hopefully means once we take these guys out, we can just simply move in, destroy the base, and build our secondary base.
You can count on me, sir. Double time.
Because right now it seems like we do have the numbers, so we should be in pretty good shape. But again, always remember to keep producing more troops. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of attack here. That's why it's good to have that garrison on top of our turrets that are attached to the base as well, because the enemy, at least in this particular mission, doesn't stand much of a chance. So again, we're just going to keep producing more troops. We're going to start moving towards that secondary base again.
On the way. Fueled up. Getting going. Make my way.
I'm not going to focus too hard on that power grid right there, simply because I'd rather go ahead and deal with this base first. That way we don't have to worry about it being attacked later, or at least not worry too much. But essentially we're just trying to take over this entire part of the map right here. It's divide and conquer pretty much. So it looks like we got those guys pretty good.
Nice and
So now we're going to go ahead and attack the structure and bring that down.
5x5. See you back at the mess.
It's pretty cool watching them shoot those jet streams of fire.
10-4.
But this base is falling pretty quick, so we got 2 Warthogs, we got several platoons of Hell Troopers here, and yeah, this place is going down. It is gonna burn. We were just lighting this place up.
Wish they were never born.
There we go. So in just a couple of seconds, we should be able to, there we go. So it's gonna take about a minute for our base to be constructed. Now, when you build a base, it's going to start out as just a minor base, so you'll only be able to build 3 structures at a time, as opposed to what you saw earlier in this mission where we actually had 5 available to us. But again, that's okay because we're already doing pretty well, as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, in both power and supplies, so we can pretty much do what we want here. Everything else is just a kind of a secondary option. So now is also a good time if you want to go ahead and see if you can go ahead and take some of these other power structures. Again, it is a secondary objective. So it just adds a little bit of extra points if you want them, plus it helps you out in the long run.
Local units.
Sounds good.
Local units.
Reduced to ashes.
Okay, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, so now we can actually build more here. We can build more Marines if we want. And we're also closer to that final base, so I'm going to start using this one to produce troops. So I'm going to build one of each here just so we have more power and more supplies coming in. At this point, I'm really not that concerned about upgrading. I'll worry about it in just a little bit.
Let's get it prepped.
Now, it is good to upgrade just so you can, at the very least, add those turrets there to protect your base, just in case your troops get overrun and the enemy decides to retaliate. So hopefully this should be upgraded shortly.
Fueled up.
But I'm not that concerned about it right now. Obviously, you want to upgrade as soon as you can, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to build right away.
Generator constructed.
So now we're going to start moving towards the bottom right here and see what we can do about attacking this other base. You can go to the north as well, but I've noticed that the garrisons at the bottom part of the base right here are very powerful. One looks like it has what appears to be at least a Gauss cannon. This is going to come in handy later when you're dealing with the hunters.
Barracks constructed.
Okay, so that's basically the first thing I want to do as soon as we upgrade to a medium-sized base, is go ahead and get those turrets built so that we do not need to worry about our bases being attacked, or not as much at the very least. Also supplying more troops. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like building another base ups your population at all, or your max population, which kind of sucks. I was sort of hoping it would. That way there'd at least be another advantage to having a second base, aside from just having a fallback option in case your other base gets taken out.
All units.
Spartan, moving out.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and capture these other power grids right here. Again, this is not necessary, but since power is typically harder to come by in general, it's just nicer to have it around. It also tends to be a bigger target for enemies as opposed to supply pads. Power generators are more expensive to build. So again, the more of those you have, the better.
Ready for a cookout, sir. Hear that, sir?
Okay, so we have almost all the power generators here. Looks like they may have taken the other one back.
Turret constructed.
We'll deal with that in a few minutes. Not that big of a deal. But I do want to take a second here just to say, compliment on how wonderful the graphics look. I would hope they would look better since this game is 8 years newer than the original Halo Wars. But I am pretty impressed with just the way, not only have they done the graphics, but the way the animations are, the way everything seems to interact with each other. It seems a lot less cheesy than it was in the original Halo Wars. Even though I did like Halo Wars, I just like the way it was done here a little bit more. Seems a bit more genuine, seems a bit more on the nose in terms of what I would expect a Halo RTS game to be like. So far I am enjoying this. So far it looks pretty good.
One of our Spartans is under attack.
So now basically we want to start building up our troops and seeing what we can do to get to this area over here on the far left. This is our ultimate goal. So as you can see, it giving us a little bit of exposition on Decimus. That's kind of a cool name. So that is the boss we're going to be fighting. It's a very large brute, and he is powerful. So we're definitely going to need all of our troops. You may not actually get him the first time around because he's just that difficult. He's got a lot of health. From what I can gather, he's basically got two. He's got shields and he's got armor. It doesn't look like he can recharge any of them. At least not from what I can tell. I could be wrong there. So we're just taking this bit by bit. And that's our ultimate place right there. Now the way we get there, you can actually go up if you want to. My recommendation is that you actually go down, because like I said before, you have garrisons here that have very, very powerful weapons associated with them. It's a good place to be because this is where the hunters are also going to attack you. And I believe there's a couple of pairs of hunters that will be trying to do the honors. And we're going to be doing everything we can here to make this as clean as possible.
Local units. All units.
Oh! And that chopper just tore through my infantry pretty good there. So we're going to go ahead and take these guys out first. And again, the Hellshoopers are definitely good to have around for this.
Let's do this. Music to my ears.
But take those garrisons, try to get a baseline established here, because they will definitely come in handy.
They've got hunters. Hellbringers.
And we are about to get owned. I can't tell if that's actually one of my troops or that's the garrison itself. But he is pretty powerful. So here come the hunters. Love the art design for the hunters. They look great. Not sure if this is going to be like the last one where the hunters had different abilities depending on what grade they were. Notice how in Halo Wars 1, the lower classes generally had the regular fuel rod rounds that you see from either Halo 1 or Halo 3 ODST or anything beyond that. Whereas the fully upgraded ones had the beams like you see in Halo 2 or Halo 3. So now we're going to start building up our troops, going to max out the population. At this point, I knew we'd kind of get overtaken just a little bit here, but the hunters are falling pretty easily, so we're just going to try to get all of our troops to this baseline right here, see what we can do. But so far, we seem to be able to take on these hunters pretty well. They're not taking a lot of damage from them. Not as much as I would think they would anyway. So we're making sure our Warthog sort of keeps a little bit of a distance there while those troops are focused on the garrison, so they're not really attacking anything. Trying to keep that Warthog alive as long as possible. And again, remember in this mission, every time a Warthog's destroyed, an angel gets its wings. Wait, that's the wrong movie. Every time a Warthog is destroyed, you get another one delivered. But it will be delivered to your base that's on the other side of the map.
On my way.
All units.
So for convenience sake, we're just going to go ahead and try to keep these guys alive as long as possible. So we're almost at the end of this here. So basically our last stretch of the mission, we need to overtake this base as well as Decimus. Decimus is going to be our top priority here. He's going to appear as soon as we start attacking the base. He's going to warp right in.
Local units. All units.
Out of my way. Coming through. Let's hustle.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start attacking. We've got a sizable force here. Again, when you're in this situation, go ahead and continue to build troops. I know I've been saying that a lot, but it is important because don't expect to always win the first time around. And you want to be able to follow up quickly before your enemy is able to build up their own armies as well. So far we seem to be doing okay. You do not see a lot of reinforcements here in terms of the Banished, which is surprising for Legendary. So again, we're just taking our time here. So far, this is relatively simple, but once again, see that portal right there in the upper right corner of the screen? That is where our boss is going to be coming from, and he is a big guy.
They just better not make a mess of my grill.
So we are almost done here.
Sure thing.
Remember, your Marines are equipped with grenades. Use them to destroy that base. Local units.
So, as you can see, we got a little reminder there for next time around. It's not a terrible idea to have regular Marines around, just so that for anything, they can build, or they can use their grenades to help you out a little bit. Make destroying structures a lot easier. So it looks like they're getting reinforcements from somewhere. Not really sure where, so we may have to hit this one more time.
Thought you'd never ask.
Okay, so they got us there, so it looks like we're going to have to make one more pass at this.
All units out and on the ground. Units delivered and deployed. Over.
But it looks like they don't have too many units left. Not much left to their base either. So again, once we destroy that, we'll start seeing the new guy, Decimus. So I'm guessing that's some sort of henchman of Atriox, or some sort of servant of his, someone who's got some sort of rank in his organization.
On the move.
So we're just going to take this nice and slow. And again, at this point, you should have a couple more warthogs as well. I don't know how fast they send them in. I think it's instantaneous.
On my way. Let's hustle. I'm on it.
All units.
Sir. I love the smell of burning rubber in the morning.
Okay, so it looks like we're doing pretty well here in terms of troops. Our forces have been built up pretty well here, so let's see if this is enough to take on Decimus. Again, this is a big guy who dishes a lot of damage, and he has a lot of health. Think of Whale Shark from World of Warcraft. Even Chuck Norris checks under his bed at night for Decimus.
Let's do this instead of them gone. Yes, sir.
So we're almost there here, trying to make sure they don't send in any reinforcements. Again, just make sure you've got troops continuously being built so that you're not waiting too long in case your troops get wiped out or anything like that.
Aye, aye. Come on and meet my grill.
There we go.
All units.
So it looks like we've got troops coming in from both above and below the base at this point, so there shouldn't be any enemy reinforcements aside from what's going to come through that portal right there as soon as this base is destroyed.
Tingles already.
All units.
My 4x4.
Almost there, almost there. This is probably the more frustrating part because we're just waiting for the base to get taken out, even though we know we've pretty much got it at this point. There we go. That should do the trick. A little bit more. And we still have more reinforcements coming in to torch this place. Alright, so there goes the enemy base. And now we get a pleasant surprise from the Banished themselves. Look at this guy. Holy crap.
Bigger than the last time
It's like Taurus Bulba from Darkwing Duck. Jesus. Obviously, Atriox is not the only gravity hammer wielding chieftain around here. I'm actually kind of curious to see what kind of gravity hammer he has. Notice how it glows red. So it's definitely not the Fist of Rut, the same gravity hammer that was wielded by Tartarus in Halo 2. This is something entirely different here. But yeah, we are getting our asses handed to us. We're taking down his power armor first, so now we can just deal strictly with his health. And this is where things get really rough really quick. So whenever he does that, get your troops out of the way because you're about to be bombarded by plasma. He has some sort of bubble shield right there that's pretty effective. Keeps him alive. Not necessarily his troops, but it does keep him alive. So we did a decent number on him. We're going to have to get more troops up there. Again, just remember, keep building. But we're almost there. At this much, it's just pretty much him. He will get a few reinforcements bust in from dropships. Don't worry, it's not going to be anything significant. But this guy has got a temper. Right now, he's basically... Oh, shoot. What's that guy's name? Ah, that's what he reminds me of. He reminds me from Kylo Ren, who's just like raging out over his control panel with his lightsaber.
All units.
Okay, so we've almost got our troops built up here. We're going to start sending them down towards this portion of the base. Down here, we don't want them to necessarily engage right away because this guy's got some uber powerful moves. He can take down troops pretty quickly, so our best course of action here is going to be to completely overwhelm him. Our turrets are doing a pretty decent job of helping us out here so that our troops don't get too heavily damaged by random vehicles trying to attack our base.
Small units.
Make way for the horde.
I'm going to try to save our leader power too, just in case, so that while we are fighting him, if he starts decimating the troops too much, we can go ahead and call that leader power in to make sure that they're healed properly. But again, do remember that it has an area of effect, and if he calls in the plasma bombardments, you're going to have to move anyway. So again, just make sure whenever you see that bubble shield of his pop up, run. Run as fast as you can. That way you don't have to wait too long to attack him again. Looks like we're almost there in terms of troop numbers. I think I might wait just for a few more reinforcements to arrive. Again, I've already seen what this guy can do, so we do want to make sure that we have just a few more that come over here. So far, I haven't been able to beat this guy in just one run yet. Again, maybe it's because I haven't attacked him full force, but as you can see in the upper right corner right there, it shows the status of his health, and it does not recharge. So at this point, we have more troops on the way. I think we have a decent shot now that he's already lost a fair amount of his health. So we're going to give it everything we've got here. We've got tons of troops heading over here. We've got 8 squads of hell troops. We're going to keep building more just to be on the safe side. Keep them coming no matter what. Basically, our best strategy here is to overwhelm him. And so far, this does seem to be working pretty well. So now that's our cue to get our troops over here. This is going to happen at least a couple of times during the course of the battle. And as you can see, we were able to get our troops out just in time, so it didn't hurt us at all. So we don't have to worry about dragging more guys into this battle. So far, it looks like we're in pretty good shape here. I don't see too many Covenant reinforcements coming in, just a few. But we're going to put all of our concentration on getting this guy down, because as soon as we do, the mission is over. And that will about wrap up this mission, because it looks like we're about to take him down. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please let me know what you think of this mission, what you think of the game so far in the comment section below. Or you can hit me up on both Twitter and Facebook. Links to my social media can be found in the description. If you've noticed, I've already uploaded a couple of videos today so far. My goal is to get this out to you this weekend, just so you have something to sort of guide you through this... Hellbringers, that's what they're called. Just so that you have a guide to take you through Halo Wars 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. We'll be doing Mission 3. And see, we're almost got them. And there we go. I'll see you right here next time, guys. Again, thanks for watching. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.
Now he's bombing his own base?
Monster. Killing his own as casually as he kills us.
Decimus must be trying to hide something. Search what's left.
We found something, Captain. Uploading now. Isabel, can you decrypt this for us?
Oh, this isn't good. I'm only recovering bits and pieces of data, but it all points to a cartographer.
Cartographer? Who's that?
Not who, what. I'll debrief you when you're back on the ship. This is gonna take a lot of explaining.